All right. Hello, everybody. This is, gosh, is this number 6?
6, yeah.
So, for our Grow Up to Go Up class, Diamond Ambassador Helen McFadden here with my beautiful partner in crime, Diamond Ambassador Sonia Dudley. And we have our little poop friend here too, to remind you all to be taking your BioCleanse daily. And we are so excited to be talking about tonight. Oh my gosh. Okay, this is going to be really good. We only have 2 chapters tonight, but I can't wait for Sonia to share about chapter, 20? Yeah. Chapter 20, situational self-talk.
Yeah.
I find myself doing this a lot. You know, I think we've just learned this through our reprogramming through the years, just like it is what it is, you know, and you either, I mean, if you can't change a circumstance, what's the point of screaming about it? Like when you talk about the weather and all those things. So I just think what happened this last week is so perfect timing. See, God, you always wonder why it was happening, but you know, this chapter was happening, so that's why. And then I'm going to wrap up with chapter 21 with some assignments. But we were just talking about how this class is so transformational, and you know, it's going to be life-changing. If it isn't already, it will be for your life, and particularly your Plexus business. And so I hope that, you know, my prayer is that every single one of you who've read this book and joined in our Zooms and really took this class seriously, is that you really do apply this book to your life. And I can't wait to see the progress. I mean, we're not even done yet, but I feel like, you know, we've covered so much now that we should be implementing things already. And so, in seeing changes and affecting those around us. And some of you I know have shared that you've already started one of these with your team, your own team. And I say yes to that. And all your new ambassadors, like we were saying, this is like the one book that would be like so perfect for any new ambassador, anybody in this business, anybody in life, but especially this business that we are in. It can just make all the difference for you to reach your dreams and really feel like you can, you know, really feel like you're in control. I think that's what I'm getting so much of, is like, we are in control now. We are the driver, in the driver's seat of our own thoughts, our own words, everything. And what an empowering feeling that is, you know? I mean, there's nothing better, right? So I'm going to turn over to you, Sonia, if you want to just start covering and share anything.
Yeah. I want to add to, what you were saying about how life-changing from this point on this book can be. And, you know, I think it's actually in your chapter 21, you know, where he talks about you're going to do one of 3 things. And so I'm excited to get to that, because not everyone, you know, that we've learned in sales and network marketing over the years that, you know, about 10% of your sales organization will run with something. About 10%. So, you know, if you look at this class and you think, you know, started with, you know, 200 people or 180 people, about 18 to 20 people will in reality do one of those 3 things that he talks about that will make a difference. Number 1 and number 2 of the 3 things. So it's going to be interesting to see, you know, what is the saying? Let's see, the teacher appears when the student is ready. Is it right?
The student is ready.
Yeah, the teacher appears when the student is ready, right? Yeah, same thing. So, you know, it may be that another 20 will happen to in 6 months or a year. But anyway, I'll move on. Okay, so chapter 20 talks about situational self-talk. And Helen knows about me. I talk to myself obviously has not always been the best, but now I'm very aware of what I'm saying out loud. And I can tell you that, you know, before you say it out loud, you have to think it. And so now, over the last 2 to 3 weeks, even maybe 4 weeks, a month, before I say something that I'm thinking, I've already caught it. And I'm going, I can't verbalize that. Why would I verbalize that? So it's so fun to see the change when you're aware of what's going on. But situational self-talk, I love this because I totally related to this. On page 204, he talks about making an instant adjustment. This is like when you're walking into a situation and, it throws you off and you go, okay, I can do this. This is great. I can handle this. I can handle this situation. I'm calm, I'm cool, I'm collective, I'm confident. I can do this. And like you take that deep breath and you're like, okay, this is not what I thought it would be. However, I can do this. Like that's situational self-talk. Things happen, a situation that you did not expect, and you immediately go, okay, I can react to something that's out of my control, or I can choose to make this into a situation that gives me a good attitude and others around me, because otherwise, what good does it do? And I love how he talks about, I believe it's on page, hang on. Yeah, we'll just skip on over to page 209. And he gives a lot of good affirmations. He talks about driving in a car. And oh my goodness. Yeah, people who drive in the left lane on the interstate, it is way up there with one of my number one pet peeves. They're driving 50 in the fast lane. It does drive me crazy. My husband, I can't hardly ride with him on the interstate or in traffic because road rage. He's horrible. And so, I was thinking about this. We can't control some of that. So I loved his affirmations that, I enjoy relaxing while I'm driving in the car. Slow moving or standing traffic is not a problem to me. I now enjoy the time I have to organize my thoughts and think about those things which are beneficial to me. I'll get there when I get there. Think about the calmness that would have over you versus screaming and cussing and beating your head against the steering wheel. I mean, really. So I thought that was good. On page 209, he talks about the chemicals of stress.
Especially if you have your kids in the car, that's what they're going to learn. That's what their parents did. So that's how they're going to end up driving. So what an impact.
You're right. You're very right. You're very right. I didn't even think about that. He talks about the chemicals of stress, and I know you read the chapter, but he says a few minutes of anger, anxiety, negative stress, and frustration can literally toxify our physical systems for hours. So knowing that now, why do it? It's a choice. So I think this book for me just, I love that it's empowering to know that we really are in control. When we're aware, we're in control of the choices we make. I love on the bottom of page 210, he talks about how, when we're not like, okay, and I have a family example in my mind I'm thinking about. Helen, you'll know what I'm talking about. But someone who complains all the time, always sick, always tired, always going to the doctor. But yet they are in bed all the time, or they're, drinking Coke, not getting out. I mean, like, okay, if you want to complain, don't complain if you're enjoying the misery. And he even goes on to say that somewhere in one of these chapters. Oh, yeah. Yeah, okay, it's next. But, when it's raining, just saying, it's raining today, and I'm fine with that. I'm fine with the rain today. It's still going to be a great day. I can handle the rain. We're not in control of those things. So I really loved his outlook on everything. Just the simple act of telling yourself you're going to have a good day. Just that simple act of saying that. And guys, I've been doing it every single morning before my feet hit the bed now for about, I guess, going on 3 weeks. out loud to my dog, and we both have a great day. Like, it is amazing the difference, how I feel for the day, saying about 15 or 20 affirmations out loud before I get out of bed. It's like, it's the reward. I can get out of bed after I do them. It is amazing how life-changing it's been. I've even said some business ones before I get out of bed, some of my business goals, and it's amazing the people that have come out of the woodwork. I have an amazing, precious team member who is on my husband's team, and so she'd be my level 2. But anyway, she's been in the business over 2 years and has not done anything. And a couple of weeks ago decided, or right before Super Saturday, reached out to me, decided that she wanted to build the business. Now, I'd been doing my affirmations about a week at that point. She went to Super Saturday. She's all charged up. She's ready. She's, ready. And so we're doing accountability, and she's working. She's doing what it takes. But I'm just saying that things will surprise you and happen. And it's not a surprise. It's not by accident, is what I'm saying. So on page 213, it says, the things that we can't control. He says you can instead, within moments, change how you feel about a situation. So we can't change the situation, but we can change how we feel about the situation. Huge, huge thing right there. Huge thing, huge point. It says, of course, we've met all those individuals who seem to enjoy being miserable. And again, we have to recognize that. We can't change those people. We can ask them some very good questions to provoke awareness within them, but we can't change them. All we can do is help make them aware of what they're doing. All right, at the bottom of 213, at the bottom of 213, it talks about making the best of less than the best. So meaning you're in a very bad situation, and how do you make the best of it? And this is where I kind of wanted to tell you, and I know some of you already know this because you follow me on Facebook, but Thursday I was driving to Nashville because I had several errands I needed to get, some shopping, things I needed to do before our Arizona trip tomorrow. And so I'm driving my car, and I have a major blowout on the interstate. It was like, boom, I'm on the rim. So I had to pull over. And so, so there's no spare tire. Not that I would have changed it, but I was very much on the interstate. I couldn't even pull off hardly on the side of the road. I was at a guardrail. So I wouldn't have changed it even if I had one. So I had to be towed to Lexus. And then when I got, these were my thoughts. When that was happening, I pulled over and I said, I canceled. I had an appointment. So the first thing I did was I called, got myself situated with the tow truck. Then I called and canceled my appointment. And then I thought, you know what? I almost did not buy the tire protection from Lexus 2 weeks ago. My car was 2 weeks old. But I did buy the tire protection. So I was thanking God that I had tire protection. I was thanking God. I thought, okay, I can be angry right now, or I can just go, you know what? It could be worse. What did I really have to do today that couldn't wait? And there was, a couple things I thought couldn't, but the rest of it, I thought, it can wait. So I got to Lexus, and I got a loaner car, and I thought, it's only 1:30, 2 o'clock. I'm starving. So I'm going to go on and do my errands, get some lunch, and enjoy my day. I'm going to actually just take my time, enjoy my day. And then when I came out at 6:30 at night to get my car from valet, they had lost my keys. And I just started laughing out loud when he told me that. And because I was thinking, well, he'll find them. Well, after 30 minutes and he could not find them, I was laughing out loud. And he was so blown away that I was laughing. I said, seriously, you've given me a great chapter in my book. And he just couldn't believe it. And, long story short, My husband had to drive 80 miles to get me and 80 miles home, and he'd already done that trip once that day. He wasn't mad. I was like, the guy goes, most people would be cussing me out right now. And I said, listen, it's out of our control. It's already done. It's okay. It's not the end of the world. I'm going to get home tonight. It's okay. Lex is going to come get the car in the morning. It could be way, way worse. And he was just so grateful. And, and my Lexus guy told me later, he texted me who went and got the car. And he said, Sonia, those guys at the ballet, they were raving about how you handled this. They were so impressed, and you have friends for life. And he said, I'm just really proud to know you. And I was like, wow. So that spoke volumes to me. Like, people watch you. Are you kidding me? Had I cussed them out, had I just thrown a fit, think about the impact that would have had. It wouldn't have changed a thing, would it? Wouldn't have changed a thing. They gave my keys to a couple that drove 2 hours home and found the keys. So it wouldn't have changed that. It would have given a very bad impression of just me. They knew I was with Plexus. Of course, I talked about that. So on those people. So anyway, I thought that was a really good chapter to bring that up. So now I've got to find I just lost my page. 13, right? Yeah. Okay. So, yep. At the bottom of page, hold on. Thought I highlighted it, but I didn't. It's a long chapter, isn't it? I didn't highlight something that I thought about. But basically, this whole chapter is just about teaching us lessons in the challenges. The whole chapter, standing in line, waiting. Isn't that the most fun to do? But things that we can do while we're doing that. I love what he said when he talked about the woman who dented her husband's car, page 219 and 220. And he says at the very end, how worried she was because this was his prized possession. And, it says at the end, because he was so thankful she was okay. And it says the important point is that our responses to situations are based on what we perceive. What we say to ourselves, either consciously or unconsciously at that time. The dent in the fender, it turned out, was not the issue, but the position the husband took internally was. That's really empowering, really empowering. I'm going to end my chapter where he talks about the jar of energy. To me, that is so much fun because he talks about, if you could just imagine that you were given this jar of energy at birth, and every time you think about, how when you're raising your children and they say, pick the battles, pick your battles. My son at 2 years old, he wanted to pick his own clothes out, and he had to match, and he would change clothes 3 or 4 times a day at 2 years old. And I remember that was a battle in the beginning. But I remember thinking later, people told me, wiser people said, why does it matter if he changes clothes 3 or 4 times a day? Why does it matter that he wants to pick his own clothes out at 2? Why does it matter if the socks don't match, if the clothes don't match? And that was such a light bulb for me. I thought, you know what? In the big picture, why does that really matter? Why does that really matter? And it doesn't. So that's what this talks about is, when a battle comes your way, think about, do I want to if I've only got this much energy, do I want to use it on this situation or not? And think of it that way. I love that. I thought about even making a visual, like a jar, of something in it. And every time I expended my energy, allow so much for the week for maybe these rocks. And every time I do that, take one out. I just thought it would be a good visual. But what a great chapter. What a
Oh, good.
Great. What a lot of lessons in a great chapter. So I'll end with that, Helen. I'll let you take over. Just good stuff.
There's no reason that it's like he said. I mean, you can apply this immediately. It doesn't require a ton of repetition. It's just applying it to as each situation as it presents itself, you know. But I was laughing when you were telling about Taylor because I remember when he was, I don't think he was, let's see, Jonah was a baby. So he was 2. He was almost 2. Yeah, he wasn't even 2. And he stood in my kitchen and all he would say was, knife, knife. So I'm like, yeah, if there's one battle you needed to pick with him was that he wouldn't get his way always wanting to hold a knife in his hands. So I can just remember it like, oh my gosh. I mean, that is like 18 years ago. Crazy.
18 and a half years ago. 18 and a half years ago.
Yeah. Knife.
Oh, wow.
Knife. That's all he would say. Knife.
Knife.
With holding a knife. Oh my goodness. He's
Double.
born a country boy. At least I'm surprised it wasn't gun, right? Gun. We didn't have any guns in our house. That's a liar.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, and then I have to say one more thing. I have to tell you the funny. Every time you say I have a blowout, I'm like at first when you said that I was like you know, a blowout. Like, so I had to point to my when you said that. I'm like, not that kind of blowout. You know, your tire blowout. Like I'm thinking.
Okay. You're
Like I mean, nice kind of blowout. I'm like, what kind of blowout? Please tell me it was tire. Okay, on to some serious stuff now. Chapter 21. I have found that after learning about self-talk and understanding, people fall into one of 3 categories. So like Sonia talked about, there's, you know, number 1, those who actively pursue a plan of action to put the principles of self-talk to work. They address the possibilities of using their new form of self-talk with dedication and anticipation. They make it a conscious and active part of their goals and achievement path. And then B would be those who accept the basic principles, adapt them into their lives in a casual, non-specific way. They apply the concepts of self-talk, but they do not actively work at developing them. Rather, they simply apply them as they see fit and allow them to work. And then those that do nothing about it. So, you know, like started talking about it, my hope and prayer is that all of you are A, but we'll settle for B if we have to, but why not? You know, why not? We can, you know, when you want something bad enough and you really need to form habits, you just work at it. You just do it over and over and over again. If it's that important to you, you will. Habits can be formed. We are creatures of habits. So let's just create good ones now with our self-talk. So basically, there's just like, you know, there's not a whole lot to say other than your assignments are all here, what he's telling you to do in chapter 21. Listen to your own self-talk. He talks about for the next 48 hours, listen to every word that's on the bottom of 227 that you say to yourself, bad, good, or otherwise. Listen to every word you say out loud or silently to yourself or about yourself. Consciously listen to every thought you think of yourself or to yourself. And so listen for both kinds, negative and positive, because there's going to be some areas it's just easy, we're positive in, and then the challenging parts where we're negative is what you really want to, you know, think about the reprogramming. And hopefully all of you all are doing that already because we're well into the book where you should be already thinking about this. But really think, you know, for the next 48 hours, take on that challenge. Listen to the self-talk of others. I think this is really cool. During the time, listen to the self-talk, the self-speak of others. Don't say anything. And then I highlighted this at the end. I thought this was interesting. Just observe, yeah. Also look for signs of who is in control in that person's life. Who is wielding the stick or the cushion, the boss, spouse, social image, money, or security. A person's self-talk will always tell you. If you would listen long enough, you'll find what their external motivations are. And that's really interesting. And that's where, you know, we talk about surrounding yourself with like-minded people. And we can think, you know, we are, but if you're really aware of this, and this could be the things that are like kind of holding you back. If you have people in your home or your workplace, and you just really now are aware that you need to protect yourself. You need to find the people as much as you can control to be around that think like you and would take on these kind of challenges with you. And I think all of us are going to be sharing this book with people, hopefully, you know, talking about it with others and recommending it. Make a list of your own past self-talk. So this is going to take a little bit of work, but if you think about it, you can come up with it. Remember, these are the negative self-talk phrases. Things like, I can't, nothing seems to go right, or it's just not my day. Those are examples, but there's hundreds, I'm sure, if you started to really think about what you've said in the past often and what you've allowed to define you. Save your list of 10 most used negative self-talk phrases. We'll come back to them later. Become aware of the influence of media talk. So if you're watching TV a lot, I don't think a lot of us in Plexus do. I don't have time. I'm really selective. I mean, you know, I'll watch the news, yes, but Joyce Meyer's always better. And, you know, but just really thinking about what are you allowing subconsciously in the background, you know, talk radio, just the media in general, like what we're allowing to just kind of get us, you know, all riled up or get us down or dictate our mood for the day. If we start out watching the news, you guys, the news is depressing. I mean, seriously, we got to think, wouldn't it be much better and serve you better to wake up every morning like Sonia and not even get out of bed until you've told yourself these amazing things, your affirmations over and over again, versus just turning on the news and listening to just, you know, awful things. But the reason for this step is to acquaint you with something called external influence. We all know what it means, but we seldom sit down and think about the effect it has on our lives. Have you ever considered how many things you do because you felt obliged to do? And that's also the power of advertising and recommendations on TV as well. Your greatest responsibility, and, you know, just talking about who's in control here. Once you're aware of how programming works and where it comes from, who do you suppose is responsible for what is programmed in your own mind? You are, of course. To some people, that is a burdensome responsibility, but think how freeing it can be. Creating your own thoughts and determining the direction of your own future is the most important personal responsibility that you will ever have. And taking that responsibility will give you more control over your own life than you've ever had before. So this is the one thing, it's okay to be a control freak in, right? Once you're aware of the self-talk around you, both from others and from yourself, it's only natural that you might want to take personal control over the self-talk in your future. So the next step, what we'll go over in about a week and a half, is creating self-talk for yourself. All right, so good stuff. So take on those assignments, all the things that he recommends that you do in the chapter 21. And then Sonia and I wanted to challenge all of you to have 6 perfect Plexus Power Days by the 27th. That will be the last day of this class. Sonia and I will record a Zoom with for all of you that morning, and we'll put it out on our group page on Wednesday afternoon. So do all the assignments in chapter 1 to have 6 perfect Plexus Power Days, and we'll all meet back on the 27th. But of course, in the meantime, keep posting in the group page about all the stuff you guys are sharing. It's so good. You know, the more personal you can just get it out, and things, revelations, we'd love to hear it. And I think it just gives people to do the same, you know, permission for others to do the same when they see us boldly sharing our affirmations and things that we realize have held us back. And I just love it. I can't say enough. I mean, this is truly, if you allow it to be, this will be the most powerful book study you'll ever do for your business. So I'll turn it back over to you, Sonia.
Hey, Helen.
Yep.
Can you hear me?
I can. You're frozen, but
okay. You've been very choppy.
Oh, I have. So have you. Gosh.
Okay. Well, maybe I'm choppy. I wanted to say, let me just say this. Okay. So it says, when you begin to change the directions, the thoughts that you give to your own subconscious mind, you are putting yourself back in control. If you stay with it, you will become your own person. No one else will can. I Love that. To mix up the whole book. So, Helen, what chapters are we covering? Are we covering then 22 to the end, right?
Yeah, there's just 2 more.
Okay, the last two.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So we're going to be in Arizona this whole week. We have training for the trainers. So we're going to be going there for the whole week. And so tomorrow I'm going to be with my best friend in Phoenix for the week. I can't even imagine. I can't even tell you guys what a dream that's come true to be able to see your best friend and many, many other close girlfriends for a week. It's just, it's worth everything to get here. It's worth everything to get here. So I love you guys. I know Helen does as well. And y'all have a wonderful week.
All right. Love
Go
y'all.
Plexus.
Go Plexus. Go Power Team.